Namaste, beloveds. This is Mother with Wisdom, aka Valerie Ames, and this is going to be a deep video for me. This is kind of an witness to my deeper self-awareness and what I have been receiving since this journey of self-inquiry of wondering what is my purpose? Why all these memories? Why all this empathy and compassion and my need to understand and my compelling, intense, fierce need to maintain my innocence and to help others realize what innocence truly is, and that it is never truly taken away from you, no matter what your circumstances, no matter what experience, no matter what your mind or your memory tells you about those things. And this has been very profound for me in that I have reached a place that resonates with every atom and molecule and particle in my mind, body, self. And what I have encountered in this place is so mind-blowing, so vast, that it has taken me and is still taking me time to completely wrap the understanding of it around myself. But I'm getting better and better at it because I am surrendering to what was found. I'm no longer denying it. I'm no longer saying that's crazy. I'm no longer allowing my mind to dictate what is my reality and what is not. And inside of that awakening, there is sight beyond sight. And with sight beyond sight, you realize and recognize the many limitations that have been placed upon us by ourselves, by our own thinking, by our own way of relating to who we are, by our programming, by our conditioning, by the world that is the illusion that we manifest and feed, and that feeds off of us to stay in its dominant, powerful state. And I realized I was born different for a reason. I was born, as they say, with feet in both worlds, the spirit world and the physical world. And I'm understanding now and understanding that this is the male and the female universe, or hemispheres of the brain, or however you need to break that down so that you can relate to the truth of it. And with the union of these two worlds, with the union of the understanding of this male and female dynamic, and with the understanding of the true duality of light and dark, of shadow and light, and the necessity for it, you come to appreciate and understand what the conflict is. Once you're able to identify the conflict spiritually, then intellectually, things take on a whole new proportion and dimension and range. And you now have to be life, represent that spiritual expression in a deeper, denser, more authentic way than you ever have before, because you're no longer identifying with the mind's created person, personal image of you being a body and soul. Now you have incorporated that before you were body and soul, you were spirit, and you will always be spirit. And in the understanding of that, it opens up what we call consciousness. And in consciousness, consciousness is all and nothing at the same time. There's nothing that can be done, yet everything is done already. There is no concept of time, past, present, or future, because you're able to tap into the same consciousness of each incarnation. And you're able to receive more information from those periods of consciousness. It's like the more you're open, the more of your spiritual memories are there for you to support your understanding of your spiritual being. And in this state, you know that there is nothing against you. There is only the mind that you have to dominate and overcome. And once that is done, we have yet to see what happens. We are in the stages now of rebirthing ourselves. And for a lot of people, this is termed the second death, because the identity that you have maintained for so long has to die. You have to sacrifice it. You have to be willing to let go of it. And it is all you have known of how to be, of how to feel, of how to think, of how to grasp a hold and really see the images and focus on the things that you've been conditioned to see. But once you realize that you've been conditioned to see an illusion, that the spirit has been sitting back and just watching TV, watching the roles that you come in and out and play in order to get to this point, that's where, I don't want to say magic, I'm going to use the word miracles, are born and manifest themselves and come out and feed you. And it feeds you with the new awareness, the new inner awareness. And it keeps growing the more and more you allow yourself to dwell there. Yesterday morning when I woke up, I was told by spirit, and I had been told before, I'm going to be very clear with that I needed to give up my Facebook page. And I've been weaning myself. I've been cutting it off a little bit here and there, and I've been, do I really got to let it go? I mean, all my poetry is there, all my pictures are there, all the things that I've shared with the radio and the videos and the conversations and the blah, 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 blah. This has been my journal of everything. And what I realized was you're still holding on to that identity. You're still claiming that this is who you are. And that version of you is the lesser version of you. And you're too afraid to find out what is the highest version of yourself, which is your God nature, which is your God sight beyond sight, which is your spiritual light being, its presence, its awareness, its truth. It's easier for you to hang on to the identification of the mind's invention of a you, of a worldly you, of this image of you. Mine was Valerie Ames, Mother with Wisdom, Tia Ma'at, Sophia of Sheba, Jezebel's Kiss, blah, 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 blah. All of these different versions and visions and interpretations of my growth, my spiritual growth. In my identity, they were named, and they served as periods and times, and the memories of them were so precious because they validated who I was and who I needed to fight for. Because in my mind, she needed protection. She also needed to tell her story because it was the story of those without voices. It was the story of the innocents. It was the story of those who were inside themselves and they had no hope, nowhere to go, because she knew what that felt like. And upon listening to this inner spirit that has always been and that has been seen and is known as a universal force, a universal consciousness, a universal way of perceiving life, all life, knowing that everything is connected, and that everything meshes and is interwoven. Everything is one. No matter the conditioning of how we've been told it's separate, or we need to separate it, or put this in that box, or label it this way, or have this word to describe it, or this feeling to describe it, or this color to describe it, or this location to describe it. When you take away all those boxes, all those cages, all those filters. You have the raw, naked, intimate truth that blows your mind. And that simple truth is that you are God in physical form. You are an expression of the divine in physical form. And that is the hardest thing for the mind to allow you to grasp. That thought, every time it comes into your mind in the beginning, is censored. It is stopped. It is redirected. It is Flintstone breaks time. Whoa, whoa, mule, whoa. And even in the whoa, mule, even in the stopping, the truth calls you. And you realize, okay, this is not crazy. Okay, this is not invented by me. This is what the ancients have been telling us since we began communicating. It is without words, but words can help lead you and guide you. It is without feelings, but feelings can help you tap in and lead you there. Because you identify more with just your mind, your soul, that which gives you breath, that which allows you to dwell inside this body, this physical body, that which is the bridge to the spirit, that which mates with the spirit and gives birth to a new consciousness, a unified consciousness, a whole and holy consciousness. And we have been so conditioned and programmed to think that because we exist amongst what we perceive as chaos, that we cannot be pure and innocent, limitless, compassion, unconditional love. How can that exist when all we see is chaos? How is that possible? That is when you need to keep reminding yourself the chaos is an illusion of the mind to keep you, this identity that you have birthed, that was given to you as a name and as a assignment, as a number, like when you go to jail and you're a prisoner in this illusionary world. This is who you are. This is your number. This is your social security number. This is where you were born. This is you. These were your parents. This is you. And there are conditions to being you. And that is the lie. That is the biggest hoax that humanity is playing against itself. That is the game. And each of us are players in this game. and you're going to play until you wake up. And waking up means you understand you own your true identity, that nobody can define you because you're indefinable. You have always been indefinable. You are the genie in the lamp. You are the light of the world. You are the king of kings. You are the queen of queens. You are the gods and you are the goddesses that have ever been and that will ever be. And this is what must be consumed and digested and assimilated. This is what you have to allow to nourish you. As I keep saying, Aset has come to me as a guide, as a memory, as a guardian angel, as a guide, however you need to put that in a way so that you can experience it. For me, she is an expression of the spirit, of a life that I have already lived, or a life or energy that I have tapped into. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how you need to frame that. Doesn't matter how you need to claim that. But get the message. And the message is the mother feeds the consciousness. And all that's the milk. And you as the child, all you need to do is sit there and receive it. And let it nourish you. And that came from, like I said, with the understanding of the divine masculine as Osiris, with the shadow side being Set, and the other half of that being Isis or Aset, and Nephthys, the light and the darker part, or the light and the shadow part of that essence. And before there was the four of them, there was an original Horus, or consciousness, that contained all four of them. Before, in the minds of men, it was split apart, taught to speak a new language. And what Isis did is she gave birth to what was already had been. And that was the spirit of the original Horus, or the elder Horus, or however you choose to call that. And she fed that Horus child that was reborn to do what it had done before. Bring light and consciousness and awakening and back into the world. To be that sun, the illuminator, the brightest illuminator. That which causes growth, that which nourishes the earth and everything upon it. And that is the conscious identity of its own self as a divine being, as the divine expression of spirit, of the one. That which sees, observes everything. It has had many names. Eternal I, the isness, the I am. The me, And you have to reconcile that self that you think is you with this new awakening knowledge of who you truly are. And that this whole time you can say you've been living a lie. And that lie is one of separateness. And beloveds, this is very deep. Many will fight it. Let me tell you, I've been fighting it, and there's parts that are still wanting to fight it. But the truth is the truth, and the truth will set you free. Because the truth cannot be denied once it has been established. Oh, you can hide it, and you can hide from it, and you can run. You can run your ass off, believe me. But when you tune into that truth, baby, it's going to do what it's meant to do, and it's going to set you free. Just like Rumi said, the one that brought you here is the one that takes you home. And home is this original version of yourself as the I am, that knowing, that identity. And that is the only identity that matters. And you have to sit with this identity. You have to condition yourself with this identity, just like you conditioned yourself with I am Valerie, I am female, I am fat, I was raped, this happened to me, that happened to me, I am the mother of two, blah, blah. I live in the United States, I'm Cherokee, Mexican, and blah, 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 blah. These are all labels. These are all identities of an identity. This is the who, what, when, and where of an identity. Who are you? Oh, my name is Valerie. Who are you? I am. You am what? Everything and nothing. Since when? Since there was no beginning and no ending. You done lost your mind. Yep. Yep. I've lost my identity to that mind. That identity no longer serves me. Because my eyes are open. I'm awake. And I'm aware of the truth. And no illusion, no lie can separate me from that. And this is what you allow your soul body to stand upon. This is the true foundation from which you build upon. Because there is no storm, there is no Armageddon, there is no zombie apocalypse, there is no politician, There is no bully. There is no devil. There are no demons that can rock it. Because they were all created. And what you stand upon was not born, was not created, has no start date and has no finish date, has no antidote, has no cure, needs no protection, needs no solution, needs no resolution. Relies upon nothing and no one, not even time and space, baby. Wrap your mind around that. And understand what your true identity is and who you truly are. And don't be afraid to let go, to sacrifice this false identity of I am Mother Wit, I am Valerie Ames, I am this, I am that, I. Wrong eye, baby. That eye can be snatched. And it will be snatched by your mind. And your mind will cause you doubt and make you fight for it and get you so wrapped up in chaos that you can't even center yourself enough to pray yourself up out of it. How do I know? Because I've been there. When you can pray the words. If that prayer is not coming from your soul, that which dwells within, that bridge that is connected to spirit, that relays messages to spirit, if it's not coming from that bridge, from that part of your identity, that physical presence that is able to knock on that spiritual door, that prayer is not going to be answered because it's just noise. It's not sincere. It's coming from someone that doesn't know who they are or isn't even reaching and trying to connect, but are just so conditioned to say your prayers. Say it. Don't mean nothing because it don't mean nothing to you in here because you have no real, you feel separate from what you're praying to and for. You feel there's no connection or that you have to be bad and you have to beg for your miracles and for intervention when the only thing you have to do is realize that's your mind. And that's the collective mind of many. Whose identity is still trapped in this dimension and is playing itself out like a movie, like a play, like a film. And we can identify with archetypes. We can identify with quote unquote stars playing roles. We can identify with popular. We can identify with weird. We can identify with all these things, all these ways. And you can rationalize them with your mind. But when it comes to the truth, you are the universal God that is within you. That is what you tap into. That is what you draw from. That is your identity. That is your true identity. That is the true identity of everything in existence, from a rose to a toad to a gnat to the stars, the suns, the moons themselves, to the universe. These are identities of the one, true identity. We have labeled that identity God, Source, Great Spirit. It has so many names and ways to identify it. Except the one. I am. Everything in existence. I am. There is no division. There is no separation. There is no color. There is no geographic location. Recently, I was led and have been curious about DNA, my ancestry. Where is all this coming from? And I was going to do an ancestry.com or do one of those genetic testing, DNA testings to see where your family tree, where you originated from, what the journey was to where you are right now in this identity. And in realizing they're just going to find some place on this earth. You didn't originate on this earth. Your consciousness came from somewhere else. Your consciousness came from the I am. Is it going to tell you that? No. So it's got limited knowledge. It's not going to give you the full information. It's not going to tell you the ultimate truth. It's going to give you bits and pieces. And those bits and pieces are still going to allow you to be separated. I am this. I came from this part of the world. I mixed with this and I mixed with that and this and that. And this is who I am. That's not who you are. Those are boxes, labels, and words used to describe you, to keep you separate from knowing I am. What's your name? I am. Where you from? I am. Where you going? I am. Where you been? I am. What you know, girl? I am. Do that sound crazy? Ask yourself why. Then think about it. Put it up against any argument that comes forth from your mind that can invent whatever it wants. Let it come up with something to deny that. Let it top that. Let it dominate and defeat that. Let it separate itself from that. Try it. It's going to try. But once you know, baby, you know. And ain't no unknowing. You're going to let go of your highest identity to hold on to a lie, a conditioned, programmed, holographic lie that limits you. Weigh the truth against the lie. That's called ma'at. Weigh it. You ain't got to listen to me. I am not saying anything that has not been said. This is not new. This has just been hidden. This has just been covered up. So that human beings don't know that they're the one. The only way they identify with I am is something outside of themselves, something they have to attain, something they have to reach with being saints and not sinners, which is impossible if you really think about it. When you are led from the mind, it is impossible to be pure because the mind is going to have impure thoughts. It is the mind. It was created. It is programmed and influenced by the images, sounds, vibrations that are around it, playing in front of it, just like you sit a child in front of a TV. That child is going to absorb the images, the archetypes that it sees. It's going to want to be the hero or the villain because that's what it sees. Whichever one it identifies with most, that's what it's going to identify as because that's what's in the mind program. Like I said, when it came to, oh, you gonna be serious, Valerie? Are you serious? Are you serious about being ready to be all that you can be? Or do you still need your little pacifiers? Why are you still fighting the truth? Why do you need to fight the truth of who you are? And it blows my mind how hard it is to let go, to keep letting go, and having to keep reminding it, let that go. Girl, please, that ain't got nothing to do with you. That's an illusion. That's a lie. You know the truth. And then you have to keep comparing it in the mind because the mind is going to keep finding ways to reel you, to hook you back into the identity that was birthed by it. It wants to be the mommy. Come on, baby, let me feed you this. Let me feed you this lie. Come on, drink, eat this lie, girl, eat it. And you sit there, because you don't know that your I am, that your aset, that your hathor, that your I am is waiting for you to sit on its lap and waiting on you to identify with it enough to latch on and receive the truth, true nourishment, not nourishment for your mind, not nourishment for your body, your physical body, not even nourishment for your soul, but for your spirit, for itself within you. That's what you need to drink. That's what you need to eat. That is what the Last Supper is. That is eat from my body, drink from my blood, and blah, blah, blah. That is what that means. To be nourished from the spirit. For your spirit to be nourished by the spirit. How do you test spirit? With spirit. You don't test spirit with the mind. You lose every time. I know this is a lot because it's a lot for me. And I'm sitting here saying this, but believe me, I am still wrapping and unwrapping this identity. And it is still like like Jokey Smurf, okay? With all those little boxes. You know, your mind gives you this box. And you sitting up there, what's in this box? Oh, this box is wrapped so pretty. I wonder what's in this box. And you open the box, I am. And no matter how many boxes you get, I am. And the mind is like, ha ha, ha 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 ha, ha, made you look, made you look, made you look. And all you can do is say, okay, Jokey Smurf. Next time you bring me this box, I already know what's in there. I ain't even gonna take it because I am. There's nothing I need to look for in it. There's nothing that's going to surprise me up out of it. There's nothing, I am it. You can't hand me something that I already am. I am the space in that box. I am the wrapping that made that box. I am in your conception to even bring this to me as contrast. I am, baby. I am all and nothing at the same time. And like I said, this is the food. This is the nourishment. This is how you not only are home, but you're welcomed home. And home becomes such an intimate place. Home becomes the place. And everything else is materialized outside of home, is an illusion that you have to give up. And when you give up something, just like I said, the whole motherhood identity, just as I began this video, I introduced myself. I'm Valerie Ames. I'm Mother Wit, and all them other names that I've been to. You've got to surrender them. You've got to sacrifice them. You've got to give them away. But we want to hold on to that. Like I said, for me, giving up that Facebook page, Mama, do I really gotta give up a Facebook page? I mean, do you know how many years I've spent and what I put in there, and you gave me the name, and now you want me to give it up, and it's like, which matters most? That identity, that world, or this one? You choose. You have free will. Whichever one you want, baby. Because it don't affect me. But you go ahead. And that's when you turn into Florida Evans and be like, damn, damn, damn. But see, I was born curious. And I was born with both feet, one over here and one over there. And I've always identified with the one over here more, with the spiritual more than the physical. But the physical was what was walking around. But now I understand there's no separation. They're just a concept. Just like you think you have a left eye and a right eye, and the right eye can see this so much, and then the left eye can see this so much, and your combined vision gives you what, 20/20? The eye that truly sees is limitless. It sees beyond the physical. It sees beyond matter. It sees beyond light. You know how some people can see auras and so forth, and others cannot. When you connect with that I am, when you sacrifice, you can't do that, girl. What you talking about? That's crazy. That's not that identity, that mind chatter, that monkey mind noise, and you listen with your spiritual heart and your spiritual eyes and your spiritual ear. That I am, you no longer feel so tiny. You no longer feel so helpless and out of control, or that things can happen and dominate you and blah, 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 and that you're alone. Because, baby, when you truly, truly, truly can identify yourself as the I am, you connect with everything that the I am created. The universe itself, the knowledge, the wisdom, the sounds, the warriors, the gods, the archetypes, the angels, the concepts of heavens and hells, the concepts of good and bad, right and wrong. I am. I'm all of that and more. I'm unlimited. How hard to accept that is. It's so much easier to believe you are a child of God and you have to suffer. You have to pay me as a mediator if you want God's help and attention. Because God is separate from you. You're less than God. You're just a child of God, made in the image of God. You were born from demigods, lesser than gods. That whatever fell is what's, you know, you're made from that dross that you sprang up, that made you out of the clay, and blah 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 blah. We can swallow the hell out of that. Okay. How many truly grasp those who were woke enough to say, I am, and you are not separate from I am. And all you need to do is quiet and be still your mind. And that doesn't mean meditation. That means let go of your identity. That means surrender what you think, what you create, what has been created for you. This matrix identity, this matrix world, this matrix system, this matrix power and principalities that feed this illusion and keep it going. You are separate from that. When you let go of that identity, your connection to that, its ability to define you, to limit you, to teach you, to be your mommy, for you to sit there and to feed you these lies of disease and death. What happens beyond death? What is this afterlife? Life is what the mind gives birth to. After that is what the I am gives birth to, or allows, or is, however you need to get there and process that. That is the truth. I wrote some things down. Let me get it because I've been going for a while now because I'm just on fire with this. And the awareness of the burden that I allowed my brain to place upon me like I was Atlas carrying this world because I couldn't identify. I had fell asleep. I had forgotten I am. Who I truly am, what I truly am, when I truly am, where I truly am. Baby, baby, I'm telling you. Okay, and I'm just going to read what I wrote because just going to go there. Woke up with no need to do a DNA test, not from the solar system, just more earthbound separation from the universal self. The father is the mind, the mother is the soul. When they unite, they give birth to the spiritual awakening inside. They give birth to balance. They give birth to harmony. That harmony, that balance gives birth to bliss. That bliss is your true identity. It is not something that you have to get. It is not something that will enlighten you. It is what you are. It is your true essence. It is your true breath. It is your true heartbeat. Bliss. The mother soul must feed and protect the child, nourish it, nourish its spirit by teaching it what it is. And then I had the Kronos and Zeus story versus the Osset and Horus story, and that dynamics of that. And if you look at that, that is the material versus the spiritual, that is the masculine versus the feminine, that is that which is sterile, feeding artificial intelligence versus the natural, giving natural sustenance. That's like giving Similac versus breast milk. The Osiris state is one of pure innocence, beyond corruption of the set mind. Now you have to understand what Osiris is symbolic of. The divine masculine that is most fertile, that is most connected to its feminine self. So connected that its fertility matches that of the feminine. And so pure that not even death, not even the separation of its own identity and parts and pieces could corrupt it or could stop it from being fertile or could stop it from being the afterlife, rebirth. So, beloveds, this is what innocence is. Innocence is this kind of pureness. And you are it. Beyond what your mind, what that set way of chaos wants to inflict upon you, want to dismember you with. You have to remember, I am pure. I am innocence. I cannot be separated. I cannot be unfertile, not fertile. It is my nature to nurture and nourish. I am that. I will always be that. Set is the opposite of this state. It is chaos. There is no appreciation or satisfaction in innocence for it. So when you worry and wonder about the mind and why it keeps coming back and why it keeps doing, why does the mind need to do this? Why won't the mind let me be I am? Why? Why? Because it will be dethroned. There's no chaos in I am. There's only peace and harmony. There's no separation in I am. There's no suffering in I am. There's no fear in I am. There's no violence in I am. How you gonna be happy over there? Ain't nothing over there. Come over here. Look. Remember this? Look. You separate from that. You can't, girl, you can't get in there. That ain't you. This you over here. You know you're a hoe. You know you like to do this. You know you a messy housekeeper. You know you slow, you stupid. You crazy. What's wrong with you? That ain't real. I'm real. This real over here. Look. See all this chaos and drama and shit? This shit real, girl. It's real. We keeping it real. You go over there, you ain't keeping it real. That's some more pretend shit over there. You better stay over here. You know I love you. I'm your mind. I always been here with you. I get you out of everything. Player. Come on, girl. You better stay in this game. What's wrong with you? You getting weak. You losing it. You better stay up. You better get this paper. What's wrong with you? That's I am not. I am not. You want to be I am not, or you want to be I am? Which identity are you? Do you need to awaken to start identifying yourself as and with? What's the truth? Which gives you true peace? Chaos or bliss? Don't judge it. It is what it is. I'm just saying, see it as what it is. It is only happy with chaos and the children that chaos breeds: fear, separation, pain, suffering, depression, and a deep sense of hopelessness. This is what that energy is. This is what the identification with the mind breeds. This is its garden, its playground, its world. its system, and it is ruled by the powers and principalities of chaos. Those who are versed in it for centuries and billions of years, baby. And you gamble with it you come on, let me roll these dice. Come on, funky seven. Come on. You know I need this. Baby need a new pair of shoes. Come on. Come on, chaos. I know there's some order in there somewhere. Baby, baby. Wake up. You are not powerless. You given something else outside of you the ability to manifest your reality, your identity. You subscribe to it. You pay for it. You surrender to it. You suck its titty. Yes, mama. Yep. Mm-hmm. Feed me, chaos. Yep. Mm-hmm. Come on, mama. It's time to play. Okay. Who I gotta be, mama? Can I be the hero or can I be the villain this time? That's chaos. The other thing, and this was tripping me out because it just was tripping me out, okay? And I know it's gonna sound weird because it was weird for me and it still sounds weird to me, but it's deep as hell when you look at the context and you understand that the ancients speak to us in many ways. You know, the ancestors, the guides, and the guardians speak to us in so many ways. And they do it so that the mind can catch it, and something in that mind gonna say, wait a minute, what is that really saying? And not just be entertained by it. And the whole message just go by. Oh, that was such a good movie. And blah, 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 blah. What do it mean? What was it symbolic of? If it had played out 1,000 million years ago, who would the real characters, who would the characters be? Who would the archetypes be? What is the real dynamic of it? What is the message of it? What if it was speaking to your spirit? What would it be saying? What if it was your spirit speaking to you? What would it be saying? The X-Men Jean Grey. She was genetic makeup. And that is where the name Jean came from. Genetic makeup. Genetic makeup. Her DNA, her sequences, her genes, all of what made her from the universe and before she became physical matter and atomic and particles and flesh. Her genetic makeup, genes, versus her gray matter, her physical brain, I, and this she is able to use to tap into her universal I am. And that was the character of Jean Grey. And like I said, that just blew me away. And when you realize each of the X-Men has their own stories and everything, and it's just up to you to find out how to identify with the spirit message of everything you encounter. whether it's a bee, whether it's a flower, whether it's a color, whether it's a scent, whether it's another individual, whether it's another individual's actions, whether it's their tone, whether it's the look on their face, whether it's the location on the planet, whether that's what the story is of that. It's up to you to tap into the energy that needs to speak to you. It's up to you to be aware and awake enough to hear it, to grasp it, to know that I am that. And because I am that, I speak its language. And it's telling me something. It's reminding me of something. It's waking me up to something. It's feeding me something. That's the reason for it. That's the purpose that I encountered it at this moment in time, in this flesh right here, right now. That's why it's familiar to me. I wonder how many times I've come across this concept or this identification of spirit, this identification or makeup of I am. Why was this separated? It was separated so you could look at it, so that you could find the I am in it and identify with your own I am and help you get rid of that brain chaotic identity. You are not lost. You are found. Wake up to that fact. When you identify yourself as I am, in a blink of an eye, things begin to transform. That old chaotic mind gets less and less and less and less and less able to be heard, less able to even be identified with. It becomes white noise. And the more you keep nourishing your I am, the more you keep identifying yourself as it, the healthier your spirit becomes, the healthier your connection becomes, the healthier your sight becomes, the healthier your words become, the more insight you're able to gather, the more light beings you're able to attract around you who will feed you because you can see and you know that you're not separate from it. And so you tap in. Okay, that is going to do it for this. And again, I I thank you. Um, and I am so happy that I listened and I let go of Facebook. And it wasn't just Facebook. I don't want you to think Facebook is bad. That's not what I'm saying. That identity, that identification of my I am, that which was truly hiding me, that mask, those blinders, They've been removed. And what comes next is what has always been and will always be. And it is what it is. And I'm good with that. When before it was, no, I got to know what's going to happen, or just hide, just no, I don't want to know, or shield me from that. Now, shield you from what? What has always been and what will always be? How do you get shielded from that? You let the mind come in and tell you and create this whole fantasy world, and you play along with it, that you're not the I, that you're this identity that is given to you, that you have been conditioned to be by others who are sleeping too, okay? And that's real. Keep it real. This is so yummy to me. It is just so, so yummy. And it's unlimited. There is nothing that can satisfy what I call my curiosity, because it has no ending. So there's no need to be curious, because I am all. And everything that I am reveals itself to me when I am ready to see it. When my heart is open enough to empty of its identity of Valerie, or its concept of this world, I can receive and I can contain the truth. And I can immerse myself in that. I can wrap it around me. And I am safe and warm in it. It is the womb, baby. And I'm hooked back up to that umbilical cord, okay? To that consciousness, that true consciousness. That I am consciousness is feeding me. And I'm aware of it. Whew. So, like I said, the mind is going to keep coming. But it's taken me 53 of our human years to even get here, and it's taken us billions of years to get back to this way of knowing. So be gentle with yourself. We hooked on chaos. We're addicted to it. And you're going cold turkey. So you're going to have these phantom aches and pains and flashbacks, and it comes with it. Comes with detaching. It comes with allowing that poison to get out of you, your system, your awareness. It is the contrast of an awake mind and a sleeping mind. And we're still new, we're still infants in this awakening. So the contrast is still needed until you really get there and you truly let go of everything. And you can intellectually say and spit out your mind, oh, I let go. And then soon, 2 seconds later, that mind will be like, and you have to say, she's dead. She no longer exists. Sorry, wrong number. Click. She don't live here anymore. She didn't leave a forwarding address or phone number or email or anything, okay? I'm sorry, but don't know how to get to her, and what you're saying doesn't resonate with me, so I'm not into chaos like that anymore. I'm allergic, and make it so. And be, I am. Namaste, beloveds. And I am grateful to be able to share this. I am grateful to be able to be experiencing it. I am grateful to be the recognition of being it, of always having been it, and of knowing that the struggle is a lie. The game is false, it's rigged by the brain, wanting you to identify that you got to play, that you're not the all powerful. Okay, namaste, beloveds. Wake up, wake up, wake up. I love you unconditionally. I love us because we are one. And watch Muji and listen to Muji's music and listen to those ascended masters and those who speak on self inquiry. If you need to use knowledge to connect or to open you up, any and everything that teaches you and awakens your conscious connection to spirit that is unlimited, that was not created or born. Identify with it. Let it speak to you. You speak the same language. It is not separate from you. Endless love.